Hi, I'm Dr. Peters with Peters Wellness, Chiropractic and Massage. And this week's quick video, I'd like to discuss the topic of getting back to wellness, putting together a 10-week wellness plan to get yourself back to feeling the way you used to feel or feeling better than you've ever felt. Just looking at this week's Optimal Health University, it just kind of inspired me to put this together and talk about. Today we're going to talk about 5 things, and I'll just touch base a little bit on each one, because each one of these could be an 8 or 10 hour course. I mean, just great topics. Number 1, your brain and spinal cord. What does that have to do with wellness? Number 2, saying no to stress. Okay. Number 3, over-the-counter medications. Number 4, getting the right amount of sleep. And number 5, your nutritional plan. So next week I'll cover the other 5, but for this week I want to start with this. So brain and spinal cord. As a chiropractor, I mean, of course that's what I'm going to be thinking of, but just think of having electrical flow through your body. Every single organ and tissue in your body, you know, if you sever the cord, you're not going to survive. If you, I mean, God forbid you cut off your arm and you stop the bleeding and you get proper care, you can survive. You sever the cord, now, you know, you look at people who have survived spinal cord injuries where there may be paraplegic or quadriplegic. Depending on where it gets injured, they may still have function of their heart and lungs. But if you cut off that electrical supply to those organs and tissues, you are not going to have a good quality of life if you live at all. So someone says, oh no, the brain and spinal cord don't have anything to do with health. No, that's not true. Of course it does. You can't argue that. It's just, it's a given. In order to live, you need oxygen, right? You need to have oxygen. In order for the oxygen to go where it needs to go, you need to have electrical flow through the spinal cord, telling your organs and tissues what to do. So, number 1, get your spinal cord checked. Get your spine checked. Make sure there's function. In my office, we do 100 different tests to make sure that all the different muscles are firing properly, because there's a muscle to organ relationship because of the nerve root innervation to those different muscles and organs. So there is a great way to be able to take a look at your health and see before you start a major exercise plan or start training for a marathon or whatever it is you might be wanting to do. So number 2, saying no to stress. Saying no to stress. In this day and age, I think so many people are not saying no. Everybody wants to be able to be there for people and help people and constantly doing more and more and more. And, you know, I've done this before. I've said it before in different videos. I took an online course and they had a speaker. He was a guest speaker who had written a book. And he says, in my book, I challenge people to write down 3 problems a day. The trick is you got to do it for 90 days and you can never write down the same problem twice. Well, if that's 90 days times 3, that's 270 problems for the potential. First time I did it, I got to the 33rd day. That was 99 problems. The next day, I finally didn't have 3 problems. And he talks about the problems. They can be big, they can be small. It doesn't matter. I mean, your problem might be, you know what? I never make time for breakfast. I need to make time for breakfast. Or I'm always a little tired. I'm not getting to bed on time. I need to go to bed on time. And it could be, you know, there's a problem with your vehicle and you need to get it in for repairs, but it's like, oh, I got to drop it off. I got to set up an appointment. I got to have someone pick me up, or they need to loan me a car. There's so many little things that come up. And so what I do is I write my 3 problems a day into my notes on my iPhone, and then I just hit the little green check mark, and when they're done. Or if I don't get it done that day, because maybe it's a problem that's going to take me 4 or 5 phone calls, a couple of emails, you know, this one might take me 2 to 3 weeks to solve. So then I put a red exclamation point next to it. So I can scroll down my problems every day and look and go, oh yeah, I'm still working on that one. But some of them you might be able to get done in 5 minutes, you know, whatever it is. Now I was looking at my pool today. I got a little calcium buildup. I don't like that. It's not bothering me that much yet, but eventually it'll probably end up on a list unless I just make the time to get it done. But if I look at it every time, I'm like, oh, that's bothering me. Well, then freaking write it down and take care of it, right? Got to hold ourselves accountable for these things. So saying no to people is okay. Or say, hey man, you know what? I'm not sure. Let me get back to you. Instead of saying, yeah, I love it. And then go, oh, say, hey, you know what? I'm not sure. Let me get back to you. And then look at your schedule. See if you can fit it in. Do you even have a freaking written schedule? So if you don't, I mean, there's no excuse nowadays. We have our phones and that connect to our email, that connect to everything. Everything's connected. My wife knows all my appointments and what's going on all the time. She has access to it. Over-the-counter drugs, number 3, over-the-counters. So if you're suffering from headaches and you're taking some pills that's covering up the pain. Now, if you're in pain, you guys know the title of my book, Pain is Fantastic. Now, pain itself might be fantastic, but being in it is not. So taking something to get through a day or something like that, a couple of days. But if you're having headaches and neck pain or low back pain or knee pain, foot pain, dude, find a way to actually take care of it instead of covering up the symptoms. Oh, look, there's a red light on my dash. I'm going to put some tape over it so I don't have to look at that. You wouldn't do that, right? Some people treat their cars better than they treat their own bodies, or they better treat that better than they treat their own minds. You know, they sit and fill their head with garbage on TV and different types of social media where you're seeing all this stuff instead of reading a good book or watching things that will help, think about planting the proper seeds so that we can have the growth of a proper return on what we put into our time and energy. Number 4, sleep. Sleep is such a big one, man. I mean, there's books written on the topic. And in my book, I wrote about sleep and finding out what your good sleep pattern is. How many hours do you need? I have a friend who gets like 4 hours of sleep, and he seems to function fine. But, how much caffeine is he having? How many Red Bulls or how many cups of coffee or espresso? That keeping things in moderation, right? And for me, I need 7 hours. I love 7 hours of sleep, 7 hours. I mean, I can wake up before my alarm clock. I like that. So for me, the problem isn't getting up on time, it's getting to bed on time. And I know that. So if I need to get up at 4 a.m. and I go to bed at 10, that's 6 hours of sleep, which I can function on, but not as well as if I get 7 hours of sleep. So, you can get those little watches and that tell you how much sleep you're actually getting, that keeps track of your sleep through the night. Those are awesome and can help educate you and learn more about yourself. Number 5, nutrition. Nutrition is a topic that we could talk about for weeks. And like right now I'm doing the Whole30. I love the Whole30. It's simple, it's easy, it helps me cut my body fat down, drop a few pounds. And I wish I could say I could go on it and I wouldn't lose anything because my diet's always perfect, but it's not, man. Someone brings you a box of See's candy, you're gonna say no to that? You might be able to, but that would be tough for me. So doing the Whole30, doing that with a liver cleanse product. My wife's naturopath gave it to her about a year ago. I did it with her just to support, and it was phenomenal. I think my diet's pretty darn good, but cutting out the wheat and the grains and the dairy for the 30-day process really made a difference for me. I love it, and I love the way I feel now doing it again. So again, just to recap, your brain and spinal cord, make sure those are functioning well, right? Number 2, saying no to stress. Don't create more stress in your life. Number 3, over-the-counter medications. That might be good in bad situations where you just need to get through, but if you're having a bad situation every 4 days, every 7 days, if you're having to take some over-the-counters every month, that is not a good thing. You're going to be covering up. Remember, most of those have side effects, so look at those side effects. Look at the use of them long term. Sleep, just experiment. Try 4 hours of sleep for a while. I don't think you will like that, right? Try 6 hours, try 8 hours, try 9 hours. And the key is getting to bed. Look at what time you got to get up and just count backwards and go, okay, by that time I got to be in bed. And for some people, like let's say you're actually going to bed 2 hours later than you should be, start by going to bed 15 minutes earlier for a couple of days, and then another 15 minutes earlier for a few days. Slowly, you don't have to fix everything right away. Just slowly take steps to make it better. So I hope you like that. Put something in the comments. You can email me, Dr. Peters. This drpeters@peterswellness.com. And take a look for this week's Optimal Health University. Take a look at the blog. Look on Facebook and YouTube and all the other places. And I just hope that please take your health seriously, because if you don't take care of your body, the old saying, where are you going to live? All right, have a great week.